Hello, I'm Like Couch, the best place to chill with friends and get your game goodness each and every Monday. My name's Blight. Joining me on the couch this week, Ashley Hobley.
Hey Dylan, excited to be back on the couch.
I just had I don't know if my voice did a weird thing there. It was because I was processing as I was saying it that you actually now do have a couch in the background of your
I do have a couch in the background, but I'm not sitting on a couch.
No, but it's still like that thing of
metaphorically,
you've got a couch.
It feels like I'm on a couch. Or is this all green?
It looks like you're yeah, true. Exactly. Let's go back to video podcasts and just do it on the couch, you know. All right, so it is honestly, it's that weird thing where it does it's the episode post PAX. I honestly feel like PAX was weeks ago. In my mind. And I think it's just that element of so much happened in the time since I got back that I'm just like, that feels so long ago, but it is the first episode of OK Couch since PAX. Me and Kieran obviously recorded a wrap-up sort of episode that you can listen to. That was the last episode on the feed from the show floor. But you weren't there. If you want to find out why, listen to OK Couch Between the Cushions. Of course, that drops at 6 p.m. tonight if you're listening to this. Actually, no, it'll be out. You know, I'm dropping at the same time. These episodes are posting late. We fucking had to push recording because I was having internet issues. That's the other thing. Between everything that's been happening at the moment, you've been having a lot happening, and then I was thinking, fucking, shit's been pissing me off in my life, right? And then when my internet wasn't working yesterday, I was like, I'm fucking gonna kill someone. I'm gonna do the.
It's appropriate shit.
Yeah, I am in a fucking mood this month. I tell you what, it's always something around this time of the year, man. I don't know what it is. But yeah, so if you want to find out, so Ash wasn't there. From just before we go through, I guess I want to wrap through some pack stuff and then talk a bit about Ghost of Yoto and Pokemon Legends Z to A is what I think we're supposed to call it after playing the game, but I can get back to why. What was anything from PAX? What were you missed out on the most, you think, other than just because your number one answer is the social side?
Yes, number one, the social.
Yeah.
I know I know you guys haven't reported much. I mean, there's a lot of content. Obviously, you talked to a lot of people, had some really good, interesting interviews and that kind of stuff, which you can all find at exposurenetwork.com. But you know, I haven't heard you personally ranting or raving about something. I just remembered, I mean, we didn't discuss it on the other thing, but obviously the biggest thing that I saw from PAX was a fire.
Oh, yeah.
The fire alarm or whatever going off and everybody have to evacuate.
Yeah. So on that, when I got back to work, I had someone, two just salespeople, right? They go, how was what happened in the board game area? I was like, what? Like, did something crazy happen in the board game area? I was like, oh, what the fuck are you talking about? We heard someone took a shit in the board game area. What the fuck are you talking about? And so apparently a rumor had spread.
That's why the fire alarm.
That's why the fire department had to come, because someone took a shit in the board game area. And it spread to the stage that two people asked me about it this is a real thing that happened. Wild. From all accounts, I believe someone just pulled the fire alarm thing for shits and giggles.
Okay.
And I'm presuming they found out and caught them and charged them probably some really ridiculously hefty but deservable fine. Yeah. The fire alarm thing was... me, again, unsurprisingly, based on everything I've been telling you, I was not with Kieran when it happened. He was, I believe, sitting down in the media room, I think, when it happened. I was talking to the developer of... I can't remember the game. It's a goose game. It's a stretchy goose game. Fuck. Hold on. Can I get this information? Please hold. Tingus Goose, just for clarification. I was talking to that guy, and you start hearing this bzing, like the alarm, but it's just the most like everyone was like, fuck is that? Like, and it's just sort of
like anytime there's a fire alarm.
Yeah, well, no, it wasn't because I think it's so loud in there that the level of volume for the alarm did not seem as alarming as it possibly should be. You know what I mean? Like if everyone was quiet, I'm sure it would be a lot louder, but you could barely hear it. So it'd sort of just be like, what was that? I don't know. And I think I even went back and we started talking for like another 2 minutes, this dude. And then we see people at the corner of my eye just like leaving through the exits. I was like, I guess we should go. And it was like, oh, I guess we should go. So wander outside, wander into the, the hallway area outside the convention there. And then you got a bunch of, enforcers like, please exit this way and everything. It was, and this is the funniest thing. So you see these reports of people being like hectic. I saw that like Daily Mail headline that's like chaos erupts. It was just 70, 80,000, however many it was, people just casually wandering outside going, what's going on?
Sunlight.
No, it was just like everyone's wandering outside just going, what's going on? It's like a bunch of people just standing around. I mean, I'm sure you've seen videos of fucking people climbing up pretending to be Spider-Man and whatever the hell else was going on. Like, I ran into the Well Played crew because I ended up just standing around outside with them, talking to them while I was waiting. I tried to text Kieran, but I think it was that thing of the internet wasn't working. I think because everyone was trying to at the same time.
Everyone was posting the same thing.
Yeah, I think everyone was just the internet just completely shut down. I think for half an hour to an hour there, to the point that even by the time I went back in, we got back inside, and then the internet suddenly becomes like, I just get a message from Kieran. It's like, I'm back at the hotel room now. I'm like, okay.
You thought it was cancelled?
Yeah, I don't know, but yeah, it probably took like, I'd say like somewhere between half an hour to an hour to get back in. But yeah, so that's the thing you miss out on the most. Is it?
Yeah, that experience. They'll always talk about the fire alarm of 2025.
It definitely does. It's something new,
Yeah.
It's not something that you can say has happened before at a PAX.
No.
They've all got pulled out for a fire alarm. So, all right, I'm going to quickly. So I've opened up all my articles I've published. So as a way of going through, reminding me what the hell I did play and talk about and stuff. So in no particular order, other than the order that I have opened them, which I believe is reverse publication date. So I did already talk about this, but I do have an article up about the touring the Lenovo booth thing if you would like to read that. But me and Karen talked about that. Obviously, the big standout thing, and mostly what I waffle on in that article, is about the Lenovo 9i something or other and how it does 3D. And it was kind of cool. I wouldn't pay 10 grand for it. Or whatever, like I think it's like 9 or 10 grand laptop, but so that's kind of cool. Then we got the interview up with, again, mention thing, but interview up with Rob Davis from Sucker Punch, creative campaign director on Ghost of Yotai. So that interview's up. You can read that, of course. All these things, exposure.com/PAX AUS 2025. You can check them all out there. Then what have we got? Borderlands 4 and Nintendo Switch. So this is the last thing I played on Sunday. It's getting to we're at the Sunday, we're at the like 5 o'clock, 4:30, I don't know, somewhere around there. I'm like, day will be over soon. What can I try and quickly get in? Yeah. And I just finished playing Hyrule Warriors, which get to after this. And I walk around the corner to see. I'm like, oh, they got Borderlands 4 here. It was sort of hidden. It's hidden in the middle of because Nintendo do their booths as like a big rectangle, and obviously from the outside they've got all the big games they want you to care about and see, their main game. So, it was Pokemon, it was Zelda,
Pokemon, Mario,
Pokemon, yeah, Kirby.
Did you get hands on with Kirby?
No, I could never.
Okay.
The line for that and Pokemon. Here's the thing: Nintendo, the entire weekend, fucked, absolutely fucked.
I mean, they're the big draw.
Yeah, and they're the biggest AAA publisher, developer, whatever. There, and their lines, every single time you walked past them the whole weekend, for those main 3 games, would have someone holding a sign that says like an hour plus wait or an hour 20 wait or some ridiculous number, like saying line capped. And even on Sunday, where you're like, maybe towards the end of the day, I managed to do Hyrule Warriors, which had a massive line most weekends. So I managed to do that. But straight after that, I looked over and I was like, no, Kirby's still fucked. So I'm not doing that anyway.
Yeah.
So I ended up doing Borderlands. And unsurprised, which is really weird to me because Borderlands was delayed indefinitely, which is them basically saying...
On the Switch 2.
Yeah, on the Switch 2. They're like, the game runs so bad on Switch 2 that we're delaying it indefinitely, but they still decided to have it at the show, so sure. It's also they still had the same weird setup that they had at the Nintendo Switch 2 event thing that I went to in March or whatever, where all the MA Plus games are in a room that's behind like a curtain
wall,
so the public can't. Yeah.
So the little children are protected.
Pretty much, yeah. They were checking my ID at the last event. I asked them for this one. They're like, no, we're not doing that. But yeah, so.
We believe you're over 18.
Yeah, well, yeah, I hope so. But yeah, I mean, it controlled fine. It ran at 60 frames per second. It looked like shit. Is the short version of that article. If you'd like to check it out, it looked even in a world where Borderlands art style usually is sort of helps it run at lower visual resolution and stuff. It just looked completely washed out. It was quite yucky. Hyrule Warriors: Age of Imprisonment. Yep, so played that. Really enjoyed this. I'm kind of keen for this now. I have never played the first one. I didn't really care for it, to be honest, but I think the introduction of a bit more story and the characters here not being Link, I guess, is also the interesting because it starts, and also the story being directly related into Tears of the Kingdom and taking place sort of before / at the same time as that game when Zelda's sort of on her own journey. It was kind of cool. And I think the other thing, especially because of course everything was playing on Nintendo Switch 2 there, being able to you're fighting all these massive amounts of enemies. It didn't feel like shit. They were, like it it was running like a proper video game should in the years 2025. Like it is that thing. I can't remember if it's in this article or another one where I do say like it's at some stage maybe we have to stop like giving high 5 points to Nintendo games for just being able to run at 60 frames per second. But it's still such a relieving feeling to pick up and play something like this where, you're doing these big group AoE attacks and it doesn't look and feel like crap. So I quite enjoyed that. All right, what's next? Indie games. So Lone Pine. This one was cool. It's basically, it was a very short 10, 15 minute. I mean, well, that's sort of usual, isn't it? Sort of thing. But played it on the Steam Deck. They had it running on PC as well there. So you still had the whole thing where indie devs are quite happily bringing their Steam Decks and stuff, which I think is good. That's the other thing I was thinking about from a couple of years prior. It enables them to have like, years prior where they would only ever have like 2 PCs. They've now got plus a Steam Deck. So they get like the extra player sort of going.
30% more.
Yeah. But this one's like, more. Yeah. You play as this girl, Izzy, who's sort of, she's a photographer. She's heading to Lone Pine, this forest area thing. She's there looking for a creature, cryptoids, wants to get a photo of it. It's a narrative puzzle, not point click because you're moving the character around, but it's basically point click type gameplay stuff. There was a couple of puzzles to solve. The one I struggled with was I was saying to the guy, one of the devs afterwards, he was like asking what I thought. And I said, I did struggle with this part, which is, there was part in the demo where you had to click a button and she like climbs up and you see this like bird's eye view of like a, what do we call it? Like a clock, but not a clock. Like, has all these symbols around it. And you're supposed to then relate the symbols back to some markings to crack a 4-digit code. And I said I was struggling to make out the shape of one of them. But I said I'm not holding anything against it because I could tell it was just because the game wasn't like optimized for Steam Deck. So that the image quality, like the resolution wasn't quite what it should be. And he was like, yeah, he's like, obviously when the full game it wouldn't. And I was like, yeah, that's fine. I don't really care. So that's cool. They said that a full proper demo will be coming to Steam, I think, in February. So keep you guys on that one. Excuse me. Davy Jones Deckhand. So this is over at Code, New Zealand area. This was a very cool game. I did say it somewhere in my article here, but my favorite part was the thing that drew me into I mean, all the Code New Zealand games, obviously, they're usually very good every year. So fun time there. But the devs were dressed up in like pirate gear, just standing there. But there's something just sort of charming about New Zealand, like not like it's just like walk up and with the New Zealand accent. Yeah, New Zealand accent. Ahoy, mate. You know, like it was just the most casual ahoy, like, but in a New Zealand accent. I'm like, something sort of funny about that. But so played that. At first I was like, man, this feels like it could be a lot. Like it's a card game, which of course we talk about how there's so many of these at this point. You got to sort of stand out. But and then the demo starts and it's introducing all these systems. I'm like, fuck, am I going to get my head around this in the time it takes to play this demo? But then it really clicked and I really enjoyed it. So you basically, when you do the battles, you have like I guess a frontline character and then like a secondary behind them character, and then you face off against different assortment of enemies and stuff. And they've got like a damage amount, health amount, and then a like what do we call it, like a parry amount. But a lot of the gameplay is sort of built around like you can use a card to do an attack, but then sometimes you're better off if your parry amount equals the amount that they're going to attack with next turn. I think it was like if they're at 3-3, it'll sort of flash. And then if you end your turn, when the enemy goes to attack you, you perform an automatic counter. So a lot of the game is like built around matching that and being a bit more strategic with how you end your turn and like matching the numbers and doing some quick maths and stuff like that. It was very charming, very cool. Like the art style. It's a very Tintin sort of, that's the closest thing that most people understand the art style, I think, to look like. And then between attacks on your ship or whatnot, you can pick where you want to go. So in the run, from my understanding, of course, but it was a demo, but you may look and see a ship out in the ocean and look around and maybe see an island, maybe see another location, and it'll tell you like potential rewards to going there, but also like there'll be a risk reward factor, you know, of course, like more enemies or something like that. I don't think it's like it's not like a full roguelike, because it seems that if you reach a certain point, it'll like save, and then if you die, you would come back to that point, sort of thing. But it does seem like between A to B and then B to C on this seaward journey, it's like randomized, and if you die, you just sort of have to restart that segment of the run, I guess. It's sort of how that might not be 100% right, but that's how it seems to me. But this was very cool. I feel like you would like this one. That's where I feel on that. Oh my god, talking too much. You should have come to PAX so you could talk about it. Should have help me out. Another New Zealand game, Apothecurs. So this had a really cool, intriguing art style that sort of drew me into to walk over to this one. Sort of hand-drawn 2D art, little I can't remember. I was talking one of the devs. She said a cartoon show when I was talking to her that like sort of inspired it. You'd probably know. Oh, was it Gravity Falls? Maybe that might be it. I feel like that something along those lines is sort of what they were saying the feeling was sort of going to be for. But so this game, you basically play as this dude who gets to this hotel at the start of the game, and you know, you set it on fire by accident, but you're like a shitty potion maker and you got to learn to be better. Making the potions, you do these little mini games, you match them, mix them, and then you basically start wandering through town and realize there's like weird shit. There's eldritch monsters and stuff that are, you know, in town, and you gotta, that's not good. So you might have to kill and fight them and figure out what the hell's going on. But they're talking to devs. A big pitch of the game was that the potion mixing element will hopefully enable a lot of freedom in how people are able to go. They were saying that that the puzzle might have 3 or 4 different potions that could.
So there's not one solution to all of those.
No. They said there'll be puzzles in the game, or like even the boss fights. Maybe the enemies are weak to like certain potions, but it's up to you to like figure out which those are. But there's going to be more than one option to do it. So so that one was cool. I mean, honestly, I don't think there's any of these games I'm going to say they weren't cool. To be honest, I didn't. I don't remember playing any of these years. I don't recall playing anything this year where I was like, man, that was trash. I mean, it doesn't happen often, but yeah. But so then played Doggy Don't Care. So this was one of the PAX AUS indie showcase winners. Also, I do think a very popular game online. Like I feel like I've seen so many GIFs and videos and stuff of this game. I think the marketing or marketing from the solo dev, by the way, is doing quite well. The demo was, I think it was like, again, 15 minutes. It had like a little timer on it basically until it kicked you off. But you got to run around as a dog what is his name? Charlie. So Charlie the pug, you run around at the house. His owners are just left and it's pretty much like, I'm bloody bored. He goes and speaks to Rocco the cockatoo, who's like, man, let me give you some tasks to try and help you. But then, I mean, you're a dog. You're just causing chaos. You're causing havoc. You unlock these, you just interact with shit and you unlock costumes. And, you know, at one stage, it's like I triggered all these rings through the house, like a time trial sort of thing, go around. Like, the inspiration is he's saying a lot on like Untitled Goose Game and, you know, that sort of just fuck with shit, you know, just mess around with shit and see how it goes. But that was really cool, really keen. It was very charming, obviously, as well. So that was very cool. I will say the other funny thing I was thinking about for the few PAX AUS indie showcase games I went and at least said hi to or played and stuff this year. Every single time, because I'd done interviews ahead of time, it was just that whole like, hey, have you seen a game? It was like, oh, Dylan, oh yeah, cool, blah, blah, blah. Like, so I didn't have to deal with the whole
awkwardness.
Like, yeah, just like straight away sort of helped. Also because I didn't have any fucking cards. I forgot to bring any business cards this year. Fine, yeah, whatever. Then we got Silk Saw was another one I wrote about. This was a very cute, very adorable. The picture up on the Instagram / embedded in the post. Check that if you haven't, of the booth that has these, you know, like these handcrafted little caterpillars and stuff, and these custom made Silk Saw full desk mouse pads, and it was all very charming, very cute. However, the game's frustrating as fuck. So that's you know, it sort of draws you into this cute art style and then shit fucking sticks one in you. But it's a very simple concept. It's like a physics simple concept sort of thing, but in which you're just trying to get this little bug as high. You're trying to get it out of this, I don't know, enclave or something. I don't know. But you're trying to get it up and out. Good luck to anyone who achieves that. I don't know. I have questions about like a full release, if there'll be checkpoints and stuff. Because I'm telling you right now, I got my little caterpillar. You know, you get it like, yep, 1, 2. You know, you get it like five successful launches up, and then when you fuck the next launch up and watch it fall all the way back down to where you started the damn level, you know.
But there's an audience for those kind of games, you know, the Flappy Birds, the whatever the hammer game was. Yeah.
Although, just people streaming it and just getting frustrated the entire time.
Yeah.
But it's so cute to get frustrated about, is the, you know, but yeah, that was cool. Checked out Skiers Landing again, which I went back and found the video where we talked about it for the first time, and that was from 2022. So, the game still exists. It's changed quite a bit. It's not. It's more like proper. It feels and looks more like a proper like third person
skiing game.
Skiing game, I guess, compared to what it felt like before. But it's still got the core element of what we played in 2022, which is it's you're still racing down a hill super fast. Simple wrong movements can cause you to fly off, and not landing correctly off jumps it can cause you to fuck up. There's checkpoints as well, obviously, and it's going to be about trying to get the best time. They'd introduce some more elements now about being able to hold different trigger buttons to do like different grab tricks, which I started trying to do it at the start, and then you fuck up the landing, and I'm like, nah, let's just finish the race, let's just be here all goddamn day. But yeah, I still really like that. It still feels fun. They've like the new trailer they've put out that's on their I think I embedded an article. Yeah, I did. It has like a part in it. I didn't see this in the demo that I played, but in the trailer they have a big part about like rescuing animals, and then on the Steam page as well, or their website, I can't remember where I saw it, but they've got a big part about like, hey, the game's about going super fast and skiing and rescuing animals, which I didn't see in what I played, but the trailer has all these different animals hanging onto the game character and switching up. And so I don't know, maybe it's like you got to find the animals in the tracks, or I don't know, but it's also that thing of like, it's cool sometimes where you're like, man, I played that game like years ago, and it's still coming along. Clicked on their website when I went looking for a trailer for the article, and it literally has something like, yes, we're still making the game, or like some message that's at the start. So it's the whole thing of like life just got in the way, because of course they're just working on this.
I think it was like a single dad, right? Or at least initially.
His
kid was demoing it for him, or like or something.
The dude there was saying it's him and his husband. So I don't know what the
It was 2022. Right? My facts.
It was a while ago. The pitch I got was one of them loved skiing, and then they were like, then the other ones, I'll help. Like, let's make that the game then, sort of thing. So, what else we got here? Blah 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 blah. Later Skater. So this is a PS1 looking thing, which was a style that's sort of is on its own genre these days, I feel. But another game about going super fast. So I played for a couple levels of this. It felt good. It felt like it's I don't know, speed runners or just people wanting to go fast, but you like start this level and then it's just you fly through. You're just on roller skates and you can wall grind and wall ride even, and jump and whatever else. And then like it would say that even in the short time I played it would be like on intro level, it would be like I beats the best time that was on there for one level, and then the other one I thought I was going to beat it, so I fucked up one jump right at the end of the level, and then that really annoyed me because then I was like 30 seconds over just by one mistake, having to reload the last checkpoint. I was like, fucking hell. But that was really cool. It had cool music, and it's a vibe. Let's call it that. Later Skater is a vibe. Houdini. This is a roguelike in which you play a character that has the ability to switch through 3 colors, so the red, green, and the blue of the Houdini colors, and basically you have to like say there's a red enemy, you have to switch, use L2, L1, R1, whatever, to cycle through so your color Houdini character color is red. So then when you walk into that enemy, you hurt them and kill them. And then also if there's a red laser beam or something, if you are red, you'll go through it safely. But then, the game, it starts very simple because it less enemies in the room and stuff. But then as you play further into the game, suddenly you've got a room full of blue laser beam, red lava pool, all 3 color enemies, and you're constantly having to like sort of cycle through the different colors to match them. And also each room that you clear, you're then picking one new upgrade, but the upgrade may only work on specific colors. So let's say you pick an upgrade that's like when you're in your blue form, you have like this fucking eldritch tentacle coming out of you that will hit enemies further away from you. But that doesn't mean when you're in your red form you've got anything. So that it also means that you can go heavy on picking a bunch of upgrades for one color, and then you completely make the red version of yourself feel super weak when you're in it, if that sort of makes sense. But this was really cool. I mean, it's a like core gameplay structure of roguelike stuff is simple enough. It's not like anything you haven't seen before, but I think the mixture of the 3 color element and having to constantly switch and change them up as you're playing definitely makes you have to keep on your toes while playing it. So that's cool. Trivia deal, another PAX Indie Showcase winner. Very cool. It's definitely that thing of you read it or you try and understand it, but then when you're playing it, it's sort of a lot better, and it sort of clicks, and I could see myself losing a little time to it. But so it's a roguelike trivia game, and when you start, you sort of pick one, or you can cycle through. So you sort of like you pick a booster pack, more or less, I guess, is what they look like to me. Little card packs with trivia questions, booster packs in them. And when it starts, it's like you'll have 4 rows, like solitaire, like, but like the first, when you start a run, those rows may only have like 2 questions in them. But let's say it's like, for me in particular, it'd be like movies and TV, smash it, like horror movie, like video game questions, somewhat like, where was I? Let's say I was finding something. Look, religion and spirituality or some shit comes up, right? Now you can click on it and attempt to do it, or as you progress through the roguelike, part of the element you have is you can build these little booster packs you have off to the side screen that you can drag over to replace. So you can fill your arsenal with categories you feel more comfortable with. And put them on. You also can buy between each room, if we want to call them that, you have like a screen where you get gold that you've built up that you can use to buy more of these booster packs to replace questions packs on the solitaire board with. But you can also buy these little token things that you can use to like let's say you activate one before you click on a question, it's like you get double the amount of points, or you can buy ones that say like remove remove two answers, so there's only a right one and a wrong one, sort of like helpful stuff like that. So a lot of trivia stuff you've probably seen in other trivia games, but I think combined into an interesting new way to do it. Now when you have you start like I think you start with like 50, 100 life. I don't know, something. You start with a number. If you get a question wrong, it locks that row, and then you have to pay a certain amount of life to then unlock it to have another go. So that's how you start to lose life in the game until you get it wrong. So if you consistently get questions wrong, you're eventually going to run out of life points to use to be able to unlock the questions. And also the different categories can be worth more or less. So, you may want to have, you may like say the religion, whatever category or whatever comes up for me, but it says it's only worth 1 point. So you quickly realize after playing it a couple times that, okay, it's only 1 point. So I'll actually have a go at this one, because if I fuck it up, I'm only losing, I'll lose 1. I got to pay 3 to unlock it. But do I really want to use my 1 Hail Maker? I could probably get this question right on a 1-pointer, or save that for I can see on the other category higher up to top. It's got like a 4-point religion one. No, I need to save it for that. That's I think where some of the strategy comes in. So no, it was really cool. I enjoyed it. It's
Did you do very well?
No.
Okay.
So I was playing it on the Steam Deck, and I think Kieran was talking to the dev, and then like at some point he's like, "Oh, how are you going with it?" And I was like, "Oh, I think I'm like nearly dead. I'm at 1500." He goes, "Oh, not bad." I go, "Don't like the way you said that. That's bad, isn't it?" Yeah, I did. So played it like there, and then he was like, "Oh, I've just actually before PAX just clicked live for the demo." So then I just like installed it on my Steam Deck and played it late that night some more as well.
Okay.
It doesn't run super well on Steam Deck, but I had it with me, so
okay,
I played it. So if you want to check it out, I believe the
That's a
demo
good sign.
should still be live and stuff. What do we got? Lunars. This is another PAX AUS Indie Showcase winner. So this is basically Mario Party inspired game. But instead of everyone taking turns and stuff, everyone does everything at the same time. It feels so much faster and almost way more hectic, but I think in a good way, because when imagine you play Mario Party, it's like it's so and so's turn. They roll, they move, they do. You have to watch, right? If you're playing with like 4 other people, you have to wait for it to come through. A turn starts and it's like it comes up straight away. It's like 10 seconds or 15 seconds, whatever the timer is. So within that time, you can do whatever you want. So you can roll the die, you can move. If you've unlocked an item, you can use it before you roll to either buff yourself or maybe it's something that's going to debuff another player. So maybe you want to quickly use that to fuck someone over before they roll their dice. Or maybe you've got something else you want to use, like they'll just I don't know. You've got very quickly just like did it, and everyone's like scrambling around, all these sorts of things. Typical moving around the board, you random places. You'll either get like more coins and shit, or let's say you land on a bad place, you lose coins, whatnot. End of the 10 rounds or whatever it is, it's like the person with the most coins win is first place, right? It's not that complicated, but between every dice roll, you're doing mini games as you would do in Mario Party as well.
Yep.
So you'll come in. All of these were all a lot of fun. I think there was a good mix of stuff where I'm like, I feel like I've played something similar to this, and then stuff that felt different enough where I'm like, I haven't played something like this. Like the one to me that stood out that didn't feel super like something I played in Mario Party before was one where you're swinging forward, like felt like you were fucking Spider-Man. You're like swing in towards the screen. I'm trying to think of the proper word, but you swing in that way and it's like a race to get to the end of the track. Whereas there were a lot of other games that were just that, like static camera overhead, like characters running around. There was the typical one where it's like you're trying to usher chickens into your colored area. At the same time, you can stop and kick a bomb into your opponents and, sort of stuff. But there was a mix of stuff you'd probably feel like you've played and haven't. So that was very cool. And I think that was a good thing about it was they had 2 TVs set up like back to back where people could just sit down and like even they brought in their whole booth was really cool because they'd brought in like little areas to sit. I was sitting in a beanbag, like they wanted to get that they struggled to get
that home experience.
Yeah, they wanted to give like the your old crowd around the TV. Yeah. Which was cool. I think made it fun to play that way. And every time I walked past it over the weekend, I'd still sit. That place was always busy, people playing that game. So that was cool. And it's going to have online as well. So
it's a must in 2025. Right.
Yeah.
Multiplayer game.
And their characters are all super, like they're not generic. They're very customizable and stuff. So they're I can't remember if they've got a name for their little critters in the game, but
aren't they based on some sort of astrology, right?
Yeah, I think so.
I think it's like Chinese astrology.
Yeah, something along
like
that,
with the animals. Yeah.
But you can like their what they wear and stuff. You can you can unlock a lot of stuff for that. So. Obviously I played Pokemon there, but I'll put a pin in that because I can talk about that more in a second. We went to the Game Worlds exhibition. I've got an article up about that. If you haven't checked that out, feel free. What else?
I think that's it so far. Everything else is previews, interviews that you did prior.
Yeah, check out any of the interviews with the Indie Showcase devs if you haven't missed that as well. I think I've got one more interview to get up, which is the Jackbox one. I want to write about. Oh, I haven't wrote about it yet, but I did play. What's it called? A Big Game Night Out. They had the fucking follow up to.
Oh, mixtape.
Mixtape. They had mixtape there, right? So they said they were like open at 3. Big Game Night Out starts at 3, right? We finished Game Worlds, like timed it. We walked out. walked to where mixtape was at 3:01, played it, right?
First person in the world to play mixtape.
Yeah. Well, no, apparently, because they had a bunch of people, I wasn't invited, which all I'm going to say, anyone listening, I know people were playing mixtape in other scenarios that weekend, is all I'm going to say. Okay. What are we doing, guys? I played the game Artful fucking Escape twice. Come on. Why they would fuck me like this?
It's beyond me.
It's beyond me. Reddy Pitchford was at PAX. Didn't even see him. I'm really annoying because if I knew it was going to be there, I would have brought that shirt. You know, the shirt I put up. Make sure I wear that. But yeah, played mixtape. It's very good. It really is. I think the way I was describing it, and the way I'm going to keep to, and probably when I eventually write something, is it feels like it is Life is Strange meets Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Is my explanation for this game, because when it starts, it's like you meet all the characters and stuff, but the main girl who's you see and stuff, she talks to you a lot. She talks to the player, camera. So obviously a very Ferris Bueller feeling and stuff. But they will talk about, and it's their last big night before she leaves and stuff like that, but I know you've got when you've watched the trailers, it sort of explains that part. But what it doesn't show is that a lot of the stuff you're doing is because, like, when you get to her home, her bedroom, for example, early in the demo, which the demo just seemed to be the start of the game, to be completely honest. But then you, like, if you interact with some items in her room, and the other characters will be like, oh, remember that time when, like, and then it like sort of flashes back and you play out this story, but the story isn't playing out particularly. It's definitely not always playing out the way it actually happened, because there's the one where it's like the other girl in the group, she's like completely wasted at this party, and then the cops come in and they like jump in a shopping trolley to escape. But then you're like flying down this hill in a shopping trolley, and then you end up on a highway, and there's about fucking 10 police cars chasing him with 2 helicopters, and it feels completely excessive to the point you're like, as you're playing it, you're thinking, there's no way they had this many people chasing a couple of drunk teenagers. And then when it comes out of it, kind of back to the bedroom, the other guy, the main other guy in the group's like, well, that's the way I remember it happened anyway. Like, so it's very like just plays up, I think, the way stuff comes out. There was another part where it's you play out 2 people making out, and it enters this weird I'm going to say mini game, but I kept doing it and Kieran was like, oh god, because he was like watching me play it, and you could press it at some point, you could press a button to just move on, but I just kept fucking around for I think a minute, probably too long, because it's as people start making out, it just goes to their tongues inside their mouths, and you can use the left analog stick and the right analog stick to just try and wrap these tongues around each other. It was pretty fun. Obviously the music was really, really good, and every level is set to a song, and she like turns to the screen to explain it as every time too, and we'll be like, song name blah 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 1974 by the like something like that before it like starts playing. It's like style and style to the max, I think, of the type of game it is. I'm very keen. It was that thing of like the demo was taking ages to get through, and I was like, there was other people in there at that point. I'm like, and that I could tell were like watching, maybe wanted to play it, and I was like, I'm not stopping. Like, I'm playing
as much as this is possible.
Yeah, I'm playing it until it kicks me off. I think I felt like half an hour, to be completely honest. Like, no, it was quite
of course, because you spent so long. Like,
yeah, fucking hour of tongues.
With tongues, yeah.
So, because I didn't go to Big Games Night Out. That was the thing.
That was the only thing you went to.
Yeah, because I went to Free Play Parallels that night. Was the same night. So I think that's the other thing I forgot to mention. Another thing, actually, that I want to write up a bit about some stuff that was talked about that night and stuff. First time I've ever gone to that. It was very good. I quite enjoyed it. For people who don't know, it is, I think this is its 11th year, actually. It's 11th year, yeah. But it was in the Melbourne Town Hall. They've ran it there the last couple of years, but it usually sells out super fast. Like it's a public thing. It's not a thing, but you can tell a lot of people buying tickets are either game developers or, which makes sense because it is when you walk in, food, drinks, whatever, nibbles, grab stuff. But then they just have all these game demos set up throughout the hall in these little interesting. I don't know if you saw on my Instagram, like the one they had on the ground. They had these little demo stations set up. That was like 4 different games in these like little weird setups they had going. But like these are all games from developers that were either there speaking that night or at least were like, they're all Aussie indie developers and stuff like that. So all that. So I fucked around, tried some of the games. The one I like the most, I don't have it in front of me, so I have to double check what it's actually called. But it's like this weird, like, like what do you call like VHS static screen, like just the grays and stuff like that.
Okay. Yeah.
But it's like, it's a game where you're like that, and then you're like playing this ball and you're moving along. But anytime you like stop moving in the game, it's like it all just it seems like to stop into like a VHS screen, but then somehow it's like you're this bowl that's moving, and then part of the puzzles of the platforming is like pausing the tape, and it's sort of, I have to think hard about how to explain that if I'm going to write about it, but that was very cool. And then they had Pro Jank Footy was there, playable. No one would. That was the game I saw the most people playing all night because. That game's going to be very popular when it comes out. As long
at least here in Australia,
definitely here. So I can't remember who I saw today put up an article, what site it was, but someone, maybe it was Screen Hub Australia or something. But I think someone had that article where I didn't read it. I just saw the headline. But the headline was like Pro Jank Footy's the best, or maybe it was Press. I don't know. But it was like Pro Jank Footy's the best AFL game we've ever had or something, which is probably true. I know it's not. Like I'm not the audience or something like that, and with the AFL games, obviously mostly those blue what do you get, one every 2-3 years usually, something like that. But
pressed up. Pro Jank Footy might be the best Aussie rules game ever.
There we go. Because side tangent on free play and Pro Jank Footy. Pro Jank Footy, for people who don't know, it is a football game, but it's also not. Like it is weird shit. Like you can get power ups that will send you like flying through black holes in the ground. You'll send cars flying. I know there's all sorts of like weird card based power ups and interactions with the game and stuff like that. They did a talk that night, and it was very much about how they wanted the game to be both fun to play, but also they have set out to make a game that is funny. That was like a big part of it. They're like, we want a game that it's a comedy game. Like it's you got to laugh. And I think based on what I've seen and played a little bit of, but I think it's going to achieve all that. So, but yeah, free play was very good. It's basically just a bunch of talks. Devs get up there, they talk about. I don't know if they get any. From my understanding, and I did do an interview with sent up some questions, one of the directors of the program, but from my understanding that there's no like proper direction as to you must talk about your game this way or whatever, because the conversations ranged from, the Pro Jank Footy people getting up there talking about how they just want their game to be a comedy to the 2 devs behind Key Fairy. Theirs was probably my favorite talk, I think, honestly, off the top tonight, because it was very much like question. The PowerPoint slide was like a lot of questions and then answers, but like all their questions were like the stuff you'd think about that game, which is because Key Fairy is a game where it's a pacifist bullet hell where they're also handwriting, you're hand drawing everything for the game as well. So they talked about how like you even make that a thing, and it was interesting to hear about like even the whole idea of, we change something in the game, and then what do you do now if everything's hand drawn? Now you have to redo everything. It's like, well, no, you just reuse those elements for something else, and you never throw anything you draw out. And so I know I found there's a lot of very interesting talks, but it went to, I don't know, 10:30 by the time I left, and I was like, well, I'm going back to hotel. I'm not going to Big Games Night Out is done now. So
Yep.
In my idea, because I knew they only got one ticket supplied. Thank you to, but I said to at the time once I was organising it, I was like, well, I'll go to that, and Kieran and Ash can go to Big Games Night Out.
What are Kieran and Amanda doing?
I think he said he went there for a very brief time and left. Yeah. It's from I think is what he did, yeah. Which
Okay.
not too
Tracks for the weekend, it sounds.
yeah. They had like Marvel Rivals competition on there, some content creators and like
I think so.
Sports people and stuff they had on stage. They had the cosplay competition they usually do every year. I think a big part that also on the indoor area they had some D&D stuff, live
like
play, one shot happening and stuff. Like it looked cool to me for what they like. Yeah. Obviously, I'm just reading what the schedule ahead of time, but it looked like they had a good show. And again, my
better than last year.
Sounded better than last year.
A bunch of people just line danced.
Yeah, that was very
some
weird.
Reason.
Yeah. I think because the other thing with that event, Big Games Night Out, it is a free event that is targeted towards family and kids.
Mm-hmm.
So I think whenever I'm reading like what I'm reading what they're going to have there this year, I'm going free this, free live play, this event on stage. I'm like, it's meant to be a family targeted games event. It's not. So.
And a mixtape. I mean, yeah.
And they had mixtape. So that's cool. I think that's it.
Did you get anything signed by the Celeste creators?
No. So when we walked out of Games World. So I think we must have walked out at like say 2:45. It was like, we got time before go to mixtape. So went to the shop across the road, across the auditorium, whatever. Had a look for that. While I was in there looking, they all came down and started setting up. But straight away, the line was massive, which is good for them.
Yeah, of course.
Good for them. That was a really good talk as well. They did on Monday night when I got there for Games Week. So I do have an article up about some stuff they talked about there because I may have been naughty and voice recorded. I had my phone voice recording the entire thing, so I could just whip back through it and find some quotes for an article. Which
as long as you don't leak the audio, it's fine.
I didn't upload the whole audio. I just used it to reference some things. But that was really good. So yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's PAX and Games Week.
You have a game show.
Honestly, I swear I've missed some articles here. But anyway, whatever. I can't be bothered going back at this point. My game of the show is, I'm going to say something, because usually for PAX, I feel like I try and pick something that's really interesting, haven't seen before sometimes. It's trying to go. So my answer is going to be the game Infant. That one was really cool because you play as an elephant. You play, definitely didn't. I've published an article about this and I somehow just missed not opening it. But you play as an elephant. It's Jack and Dax 2/3 inspired, the dev said. You're playing a post-apocalyptic sort of end of humanity world where you play as this elephant who's trying to find his herd. And it's, the game starts and you're wandering around and you can see remnants of humanity through like the types of, I guess, industrial material and objects that are around. And the demo period was sort of explore for a bit, need to find a lamp first, find a lamp that lets you like burn through some vines and stuff. Then you got to find another tool that lets you cut through some. It's got very basic combat, which is very basic, but I mean, it's a demo. It's like these little crab creatures are attacking you and stuff like that. But and then it's like you walk into it, had these like implications of a bigger world thing where this, I don't know, you just walk into this room, this big fucking frog statue was talking about, saying very poetically inspiring stuff about the world, and I'm like, don't know what's going on. And then they also task you with finding frogs, which triggered this very cute, interesting cutscene where every time you found a frog, you'd cut to this very close-up face of the elephant and then the frog, and it was very amusing. But yeah, I was very much enjoying it. There was a part where I even like sat down. You can sit down at these campfires, and I was just doing the camera swooning thing. Enjoying that. You could tell they've already put a lot of work into the animations of the elephant, because even just like panning the camera around, like it was just doing a lot of like you can see that there are already a lot of character and love going into, I think, that character, and the way that Dev was talking about it was very passionate, which I appreciated. He was talking about how he's here, never been to PAX before, ever, even as a consumer, and it was like that whole thing where he's like, man, this PAX is so good, it's crazy, never been here before, really feel like it's like where you find your people, hey, and all this, like all this sort of stuff that someone who's never been to like a convention, I'm like, man, it must be crazy going to your first PAX as a
developer,
like you're fucking hardcore. And he went to South by Southwest straight after that, because he was saying about how they're going hardcore, trying to like have all these meetings and stuff, trying to get some more funding for the game and stuff. So more power to them. So I'm gonna pick that as my thing, because there was a lot of other really cool games, and most of them I really liked, to be completely honest. But also most of them I already knew about. Either had played, and if I hadn't played, I knew about it. Whereas Infant was the one game that I'd never heard of it, never seen it in my life before, played it and was like, man, this is really fucking cool. So I feel like they're the PAX gems, where you're like, never heard of it before until you play it there, and then. Because sometimes there's indie games there where you know of it coming into it, either because
like Untitled Goose Game.
Yeah. Or even like some of the more prominent, I guess, Australian indie developers are probably more aware of when they announce a game, and it'll have it at PAX and stuff like that. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people's game show would be something like Project Footy or something like that, which is a fucking fantastic. But I'm like, I didn't knew about that, and it's it's been published by Umbrella. It's part of their first their gaming art.
It's set. It doesn't need the rub.
Yeah, so it wasn't as surprising. It was good. Whereas that's my pick there. All right, non-PAX. How much? Please do some talking. How much Ghost of Yotai have you played?
I've put about 6.5 hours into the game so far. I assume that's a little bit more than you, a little less.
About the same. Yeah,
about the same. Yeah, I mean, I'm enjoying it so far. Obviously, it is the story of set way after the original game. On the island,
300 years. So they're like, there's no fucking way.
Yeah, the northern island of Itto, where a young girl's family was murdered, and by the Yotai 6, and they are now pretty much kind of this ruling class here in Yotai. She managed to survive. She went down south, became a samurai for hire mercenary, and has come back with the sole purpose of murdering all these people. So classic revenge story. At first, I was a little bit put off actually by the just being dropped in the middle of nowhere, no explanation. Like, whereas the Tsushima had like a clear narrative that we set out. You've clearly an easier like maybe tutorial setup, that kind of stuff. But as you start to the world starts to open up. It starts to get more interesting. You get to meet more new characters and that kind of stuff. And as you start to track down, or get hints about different items or clues or places, it starts to become really fun. And obviously, it is different in that there isn't the issue of morality around that was an issue with Jin. Of this was a samurai who's suddenly like kind of doing things that is anti-samurai. Atsu like is very much willing to kill anybody and everybody at the drop of a hat. And it's like, I guess you can make some choices as to how moral she is. Like, is she going to just kill anybody who comes along the way, or is she going to like, be fight for innocence and that kind of stuff? But yeah, I'm enjoying it so far. My only gripe so far is I feel like I remember being able to, when you go into a village stealthily, you could like track all the enemies in you could check how many enemies were in the camp, or like keep track of the enemies, like have a look at them, and you would know, which isn't a feature in this one when you go stealth, which I would find helpful, but
I feel like this game's like stealth is nearly pointless. It's like, at least so far in what I've experienced, like it feels like they've like, it's like compared to Tsushima, it's where it's like stealth, yes, that's
well, there's no
forefront.
fail state ever. I don't think, which is probably for the best, but it's fun to go around assassinating people and just crawl up, stab them, go back into the tall flowers. But yeah, I think Erika Ishii's doing a good performance so far. I'm enjoying how the story is kind of being told, where unexpectedly you would say it's kind of like cut to the bad guys, or there's a hell of a lot of flashbacks, like surprisingly impressive, like visually being able to almost seamlessly flashback 16 years to Asu's childhood at times, and the world is like shifts in that instant, like very much something you haven't seen since Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. Yeah. So that's all really cool, and like it's fun just running around the world and then coming across like shrines and familiar places or gardens and that kind of stuff, or dueling. Going to I will say I do miss the click of the how Jim would click his sword when he was about to start a duel. I miss that sound. And, it's just the little things that maybe like I'm like, I kind of wish this was here. But I think they've done a lot of stuff that's improved on the original game. So, what are your thoughts?
It's definitely like Jim was a samurai, and
yes.
What's the character's name? Atsu. Atsu.
Atsu. Yeah.
Atsu.
Atsu.
Atsu is just a mercenary. Like that's the
just sword for hire.
Yeah, it's just a sword for hire. It's funny you said the exact same thing Kieran said. Like when I was talking to him about it, when we got to when he met up with him in Melbourne, I asked him what he thought about it so far, and he was saying about like how he didn't like he felt he didn't know what to do when he started, and it's that because the game doesn't have the same open world feeling that most games have of like stuff. But that's a purposeful choice, and I'm in our interview, and then I'm pretty sure every other fucking interview he would have done, because you can tell it's one of those like he's so you can tell as he's saying it, it's like this prepared sort of answer, but like sort of the going for this feeling of being a wanderer instead of a like just
on a mission,
just go in and just rather than directing you where to go specifically at all points and having a bunch of tick box icons and stuff like that to do as well. So I'm enjoying it. I need to get
those tick box items. Yeah, once you load the map with a bunch of them, you're like, yes.
That's it. The funniest thing about Kieran complaining about it, and I'm like, but it's probably better for you not to have those, Kieran, because you might finish the fucking game. Like, I don't remember how much I left in of his, because obviously all the interviews I've just edited them down for clarity sort of so far.
Yeah.
But Kieran, when he asked, I don't remember what I cut it down just for clarity's sake in the actual interview piece, but Kieran did this big long like thing when he was talking to Rob Davis about and saying about like how he doesn't like these games. He was talking about his Witcher 3 experience and how he gets burnt out and all this sort of stuff, and like I think his question was sort of like, how do you make sure that doesn't happen? I think Rob Davis sort of answered, but also sort of didn't, because I'm like, I don't feel like I feel like he answered it. Yes, he didn't answer it in a way that for Kieran is like how to solve your particular problem. I just left it. I wanted the whole time I was thinking, I was like, I kept thinking of fucking little jab mark. I was like, I'm just gonna let it fucking make it out of the first island, like, good lord. I'm enjoying it. I need to get back to it. I've been hitting that Tsar as for some reason became a word. I don't know why. Kieran's like, what are you going to do? Well, he got this side tangent. So 9:00 Friday, we're entering the Grounded 2 people, right? So, which was in a hotel pretty close to PAX, not too far away from where it was. Go do that. I'm like, by the time we're finished, we could probably still get half an hour of the media hour because obviously media gets in. Media and content creators get in between 9 and 10 on Friday, in case anyone doesn't know. It's not like it's a big secret. But so we get there, we have half an hour. By the time we get to the show floor, we've got half an hour. He kept being like, someone had to book a fucking interview at 9, so we miss our full fucking media hour. I'm like, what are you going to do with an hour? Like, he went and played. We got in there. He went straight to the Rogue Ally. That was his thing.
That's it.
I went and played Pokemon, which for some reason all weekend, and he's now, I'm sure you'll hear it. There's no way he doesn't keep saying it in next time he's on this podcast next week. But he just kept saying, hit that Tsar, which I think it just became like a, what do you call it? Like a word tick thing or whatever. But like every time we would like walk past it later, be like, look at all these people hitting that Tsar. What's it mean? Don't know, but it's what it became. Hit that Tsar. When I finally booted up the other night, or a couple nights ago, whenever I was playing it. Now he online playing it, so he must have hit some FOMO from all the reviews.
So Kieran has been playing.
Kieran has been
hitting that Tsar.
Kieran has been hitting that Tsar. Now, before he's on here to defend himself, hopefully next week, I want everyone to remember how much he has been shitting on that game for months.
This is what I want for Pokemon. I want Pokemon to be Pocket World, whatever, Power World.
Yeah. It's just so. And then I must have popped up because, when you log on, when a friends list comes on, it's popped up in sales plan. So all I get is a Facebook message from him that just says, good to see you hitting that Tsar or something. I was like, it's still going. So Pokemon, knows it ZA. Now, I believe for ages we've not known how to call it. I think we're supposed to say Pokemon Legends Z to A because the game's core story is, after finally playing it and getting it. Well, yeah, so yes. You get to Luminor City at the start of the game. Of course, you're just a random character. Why your character has come to that city, no idea. But 2 minutes after getting off the train to said city, they get wrapped up in a big, a journey. They don't have any Pokemon at this point. Suddenly, now they're a Pokemon trainer. But there's a thing happening in the city, which, in all the directs and whatever, they talk about how at nighttime, these areas open up, certain sections of the city, which you can go into and do battles, right? So that is part of this, I can't remember the official name, but there's an event happening in the city where players are trying to get from rank Z, where you start, to rank A. And apparently when you get to rank A, you'll get a wish granted to you by the head of the city or some shit like that, right? So the game, I think, is supposed to be Pokemon Legends Z to A because you're trying to get from Z to A ranks. So I don't know. Anyway, so I'm really enjoying the game. I'm having a great time with it. I think there is that element of, compared to the last Pokemon game where, it plays so much better. Scarlet and Violet played phenomenally and better on Nintendo Switch 2 after the update and everything. But there's something to be said about just booting up the Nintendo Switch 2 version of this game and not having any problems visually or, straight away it's running at 60 frames per second and everything. Like, it feels like it doesn't feel like it's running on potatoes, which is good. I think that's not the only thing, though. I do think it's built upon everything that I enjoyed about Legends, and just built upon it, not in like drastic ways, but enough that keep the core experience alive. And by that, I guess what I mean is there is something to be said for the feeling of walking into a wild zone area once you're like high enough level and you can just fucking yeet Pokeballs at every Pidgey around you and just seeing a bunch of because you just fucking suddenly catch it all. Like you don't have to get into actual battle state to catch. You're just like yeet, 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 fucking going out. And sometimes there's like enter a wild area and they have the same, I think they call them alpha. They had them in the last Legends games where it's like really angry versions of Pokemon who are like slightly larger and everything, and they sort of like they'll chase you, they'll fucking hone in on you and go for you like mad dog. So it's like sometimes one of those is going for you, and then the other 4, 5 fucking Pokemon are all suddenly like, let's get involved in this mess at the same time. And like you're just trying to click because you click L2 to lock onto the Pokemon trying to attack, and then use the buttons to tell your Pokemon to, use certain moves and stuff. But sometimes while that's happening, I'm like, L2, move, go attack this one. And then I've got these little pesty, like I remember today there was a part where there was like an alpha, what was it? Alpha? It was a Scyther or a Pinsir. It was something. It was going off. And then all the real small, normal-sized Pinsers and Scythers are fucking off. And all this shit. I'm like, good lord. So it's like I send my attack and then let go of L2. So then I'm just like yeeting fucking Ultra Balls at all the other things. So I'm like, I'm not going to try and kill them because it'll take longer. So it's like, attack, yeet ball. So, I mean, there's something magical about that.
It's different.
It's different. Is the way it goes. I think this one has a lot more story. I mean, Legends had a story that was interesting because it was like trying to tell the Pokemon Legends Arceus, how we're saying it.
Yeah.
Had was trying to,
like an origin kind of thing.
Origin story of it's like the first Pokedex and the first Pokeballs and like you made them out of wood and stuff like that. There's a really cool thing in this game where you can go to a museum and they have like a lot of you can like look at. It'll be like, oh, back in the day they wore these, and it has like this part where they've got like all the Pokeballs, and they're like, you can click on them, and it'll be like, they used to make them out of fucking berries. What losers, like stuff like that. So it's really cool. Yeah, so it's like the story here is, I think, probably the most engaged I've been in a Pokemon game story in a very long time. Because from the get go, it's like you meet a character, and they're like, and then she takes you to the hotel, which is run by old mate I've lived for 3,000 years from the other games, and he's running it. And then you meet these other 2 characters. So there's a group of 4 that's part of this one team, and they're pretty much trying to after the first, I mean, I feel like the game's like 2 to 3 hours of tutorials, which is a negative for it, but is what it is. Once you started getting to the core concept of the game, what they're trying to stop is throughout the city, all these things called rogue mega evolutions are happening, which are these Pokemon are just out of nowhere going mega evolving and just causing trouble for everyone, sort of thing. So that's the core. Like the mystery is what's causing this, how do we stop it, trying to figure that out. You pair that with some other little side tidbits and stuff, and of course there's side quests, and so it's like you can go ham on the main story missions, which I usually just go to usually every time they'll give you like 3 mega evolution Pokemon icons on the map that you can sort of do in any order that you want to go to them, and one of the other people from the hotel group that you're now part of, they will do the boss battle with you, because that's sort of what they are. When you go into them, it enters like this huge like locked off screen where the mega evolved Pokemon like goes ham for you at all stages. You actually have to dodge roll out of the way of their attacks. Like it feels a lot more you've got to be paying more attention than you usually would, I guess, in a Pokemon game. Like you can't just stand still. If you stand still, you will get hit by attacks by the Pokemon and you will lose. You will have to restart the fight. So you can't just stand still. But they'll be attacking, and these basically during the fight, you have to attack with moves. The Pokemon will drop mega evolution crystals, and then once you've got enough of them to power up your Pokemon, you can mega evolve them and fight back and do more damage. And that's sort of the core crux of it. But between that, if you want to space things out, job of things, you've got the other main part of the story, which is, of course, getting from rank Z to A. And to do that, you'll have to go into the battle zones when nighttime happens. And the game just flicks from nighttime to daytime periodically. Like it must be on a timer, like before it'll flick and go backwards and forwards. Or you can sit on benches to make it go from nighttime to daytime if you want to get to either side faster. But you've got to like defeat enough trainers in the battle zones to get a promotion ticket, so then you can go battle a trainer to rank up. So you could do that. You can also then go to the wild zone areas, which the game, as you progress, unlocks more. So it's like when the game starts, there's only like 4 wild zone areas, and I think I've got like 16 now. I don't know. But like each of those. And of course, it's that whole thing of like when you open the map and you hover your icon over any of those, it'll tell you if you've caught every Pokemon in that area. So then, of course, you're like, well, I've got to try and catch every Pokemon in there. Sometimes there's ones you can't find. It's like you got to come back at nighttime, of course. Like there's all the usual sort of stuff. While you're doing all this, of course, there's a professor in town who's like, I will give you points for doing said tasks. And of course, all of those tasks are simply around catching all the Pokemon in the Wild Zones areas, catching X amount of every type of Pokemon and stuff like that. And as soon as I started the game, I was like, let me look through the reward list. 50 reward list here. The second last thing this person gives you is a Master Ball, and the last reward they give you is the Shiny Charm. So we all want to complete this fucking professor's task because we all want the Shiny Charm. So I've been trying to do as many of those as I can. Talking about Shiny, this game actually does a side quest where they give you a Shiny Pokemon, which I thought was cool to like integrate it more into the part of the game. Like this, you can there's like all these little exclamation points characters in the game. You can stop, talk to them, similar to the first Legends games. Some of the side quests will be as simple as, my Pokemon wants to battle you. Cool, battle, and then other times it's, can you bring me a specific Pokemon? I want to see 5-color fucking Floribores or whatever. I need to see a different version of this. I need to, like something a bit more complicated. Or can you use can you get a specific Pokemon with this specific move to show me this thing and whatnot? But yeah, one of them was, hey, I've heard rumors of a shiny Mareep, and there was a shiny Mareep. I was like, oh, that's cool. They actually made it part of the side quest. So, yeah, I'm really enjoying it. I think it's good. I think it's very good. I think as far as like, would you want the mainline Pokemon games to be like this? Not quite, but I do feel like there's nearly like a mix between them, like where we're at with this one. I don't know, somewhere in the middle, something like that. I don't know, but I think by all accounts, most of the reviews worldwide, I don't know what the Metacritics are, but this one, considering what Pokemon games have scored and public perception's been like for a while, I feel like most people are pretty happy with this, at least from what I've seen, like, which has been good, surprising change of pace. Because when the last Pokemon game, of course, came out, it was very mixed reviews. Public perception was, we hate Pokemon now. Well, not everyone, but there was that very loud group, over to the side. So, yeah, that's cool. All right, anything else you played?
No, just more Hades 2.
Oh yeah, Hades 2. Sorry, I finished Hades 2. About it before. Sorry,
really?
No, I finished it. Yeah, finished Hades 2. Played a shit ton while Melbourne International Games Week. So every night, I'm pretty sure me and Kieran both ended our nights by just laying in bed playing Hades 2. And then the day I got back from PAX, I was like, I'm so fucking tired. And of course, I had like a million articles and stuff I want to do, and there's still a couple, as I've been mentioning, I want to do. I was just so exhausted. I'm like, I'm going to take a day to myself, and I did nothing but play Hades 2 that day, and I managed to finish it. I think it's very good. I don't think it's, I don't know if it's a hot take. I don't think it's okay. I still would say I prefer the first one. I just found the storyline of the first one a lot more, I don't know. I just found it more impactful. I think that this one, after you also feel like, because this one does the same sort of thing that the first one did. So I'm trying to dodge spoilers. So it's like the first one, you get to the top, you beat Hades for the first time, right? And then it's like, do it 9 more times to get the proper ending. Without spoiling it, this game sort of just does the exact same thing, but splits it across 2 different areas, which I sort of felt like I was like, I don't know. Like, I know it's 2 different areas, but I'm also like, it's the same fucking thing. Like, I'm still beating the game. I'm beating the game 10 times to reach the true ending, right? Because you have the normal underground route, which leads to Kronos.
Yes.
So again, without huge spoilers, it's like you have to beat Kronos 5 times, and then you've got the top element part.
To help out Mount Olympus. Yeah.
How about Mount Olympus, which is under attack, which, again, without spoilers, the attack on Mount Olympus is tied into Chronos. Shockingly.
Yeah.
Who'd have thought it? And I will say the fight with what's at the top of Mount Olympus is a lot cooler and different compared to the Chronos fight and everything else. It sets it further apart from the it doesn't feel like any of the fights in the game. It doesn't feel like any of the fights in the first game either. So I enjoyed it for that factor, I think, alone. But it's still the thing. I was like, okay, we'll beat this main boss 5 times, beat this main boss 5 times, reach ending, So it was just something I was just sort of like, it was the same sort of thing. And when I reached the ending, I was like, hey, I enjoyed it. Again, it sounds like I'm shitting on the game. It's a great game. One of my favorite games of the year, definitely, easily. But it's still that thing of like, it done a lot of the same stuff, either the same or slightly better. But of course, it's an iterative sequel, so it doesn't stand apart as much as when it
doesn't feel as special as when you play the first one.
Yeah. I feel like that's my thing. Like what this game does is like when I think about what it adds differently would be like obviously having magic be the main thing instead of just straight up combat. That's cool. You can you get pets and stuff obviously that you can bring along on your runs eventually. So it's like that adds a different thing because you can also upgrade those. You can feed them things to like upgrade certain things on them. But like all in all, I'm like, you're still like the boons and the things. Like I was building a lot of the same from memory. Like I'd probably want this. Like a lot of my same sort of pairings I would go for.
Combinations,
I was doing still. I didn't feel like I was trying anything too different. But no, still very good game. Still very much enjoyed it. I think that if you're a fan of the lore and the world and everything, by the time you get down to those last couple runs and you start seeing more of the story and stuff, you'll be very happy with what starts happening. So yeah, how was your? I know because you started the conversation. I was like, fuck, I've finished that actually.
Yeah, no. Well, I've gotten to the third boss going down and the third section going up. So
okay, yeah, you're like fucking half an up. So third boss. So it goes teacher, singers. Oh, so the dog, right?
Yeah.
Third boss up is.
I haven't got to the third boss. I just beat
the second. So you beat yes, yeah. I'll warn you on something that fucked me. When you get to the third boss, I thought it was going to be the main boss, and it plays out like it's the main boss of the Mount Olympus area. And when I beat them, I was like, oh my God, you have done it. And I walked into the next section off screen and they're like, no, it's not. There's a whole other fucking section. But the way it plays out and given the character that's there and everything, I was like, you fucking.
Yeah, so it's a different swerve to Cerberus in the first game.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, I'm going to fight Cerberus. No. Yeah.
No.
Okay.
Like it's a named prominent god.
Yeah, okay.
But they're not actually the main. Like you have to fight them every time you do the run. So
yeah, okay.
You're like, God damn it.
Literally.
Yeah. Literally. But no, very good. Also, again, shout outs to Steam Deck. So
yeah.
I mean, how much do you wish you had one when you were stuck?
It would be much more helpful than bringing in my laptop to the hospital. Plug in all those cords in, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember there was a stage there. I can't remember what day it was. Maybe it was the Thursday Arvo. So like between when we had shit happening, like I hadn't gone to free play parallels yet, or like we had a couple hours. I think me and Kieran just like sat in the hotel room for like 3 hours, just both on our Steam Decks playing Hades, like just sitting there. Yeah. Just like I'd be sitting there in silence and I'd just be listening to him in the background yelling in his game pretty much. So good stuff.
Good stuff. Yeah.
Good stuff. All right. I think that's it. That's our post the second week PAX coverage. I think that's everything done. Catch up on the games we've been playing. I think that's done. Back to normal next week. I think.
Hopefully.
I don't think there's too much else happening. And then before you know it, it'll be the Game Awards and whatever the hell else is happening. So crazy times.
Yeah. I mean, not long before we have to start thinking about.
That's disgusting. Why would you say that?
Yeah. And the facts, it's almost the end of October.
Yeah, wild. Absolutely insane. All right, thank you very much for joining us, of course. Check out explosionhover.com for all the stuff I've mentioned. You can follow us on explosionhover.com/follow and support us explosionhover.com/support. Until next week, same time, same couch. Goodbye.
Earlier, probably.
Yeah, earlier. Yeah, on time.